It may be more prevalent than we think in Douglas County.
Nebraska Health and Human Services is tracking the virus in our wastewater and says COVID levels are the highest they've been since their surveillance program began.
Our 6 News' Bella Caracta found out this method may better reflect how COVID is impacting our community.
Shannon Bartelt-Hunt is an engineering professor at the University of Nebraska. She establishes wastewater collection sites, collects samples, and analyzes them. This site at Epley Airfield filters out travelers, but the process is just the same across the 19 other sites in Nebraska.
And so you can see the tubing that comes up through the box and into the sampler. So this sampler collects the water into these containers, and this one is set to collect in a couple of days. And what we take back to the lab are basically these small wastewater samples that we can then analyze for the COVID concentration.
We sat down in her office to talk about what recent sampling is showing. The latest report shows that concentrations of COVID are classified as very high and increasing. The red line for wastewater suggests cases are higher than what testing in blue may show. When we get tested for COVID, it may be because we've been exposed or we're experiencing some symptoms. As more people test at home or not at all, that can obscure what's really spreading in the community.
Now that people aren't doing as much testing, that there's more at-home testing that's not getting reported, it doesn't track as well, and we can quantify the concentration of the virus that's present in the wastewater, and that can be related to the level of COVID that's being shed, by people in the community.
Justin Frederick, the Douglas County Health Department's epidemiologist, says wastewater testing gives the health department a 10-day lead.
It helps us plan for what's coming, and it also helps with our messaging to the general public about precautions that they can be taking to prevent the transmission of COVID.
On your side, in Omaha, Bella Caracta, 6 News.
Testing wastewater is not new, but it is new to Nebraska. The infrastructure was built here because of COVID. And experts say it could be used to test for other viruses like the flu. In fact, polio was detected in New York wastewater earlier this year.